struggling. The 49ers are riding their third two-game losing streak of the season with their playoff hopes fading. They visit Seattle on Sunday, where Colin is 0-3 as a starter, including the playoffs. We all remember those games, don't we? I'm talking to Jerome Bettis here. Help me out. Do you give the 49ers a chance to win this Sunday?
A slim chance.
Okay.
A slim chance. Only because of the whirlwind and all the negativity that's happening in San Francisco right now. What usually happens when a team is going through all of this and when everybody's going after your quarterback, usually as a football team, you rally around your guy and you say, hey, we got you. We're going to make sure that you play well because we're going to play well around you and we're going to help you out. And usually the team will galvanize and say, okay, let's go. And especially the fact that they're playing against their nemesis, Seattle. Now, it is a problem. They're playing in Seattle. If this game was in San Francisco, I would like San Francisco to win this game. The fact that it's in Seattle, yeah, I would. Under these circumstances.
Okay.
I like San Francisco to play well. I don't believe they can win this football game because Seattle understands that they are chasing Arizona and they can't afford to have a letdown. So they're going to be at the top of their game, and the fact that it is the 49ers, Seattle's going to get up for that as well. I think Seattle still wins this game, although I like San Francisco to come out there and play very, very well.
You're on both sides.
No, Seattle's going to win, but San Francisco is going to show up. For the people that think that the 49ers are dead and washed up, they're done, you're going to see a really good 49ers team this weekend.
All right.
I agree with him a little bit. I'm gonna hedge my bets here a little bit. That first game, San Francisco got beat up.
The Thanksgiving game.
They got beat up. They had under 200 yards of total offense.
164.
Under 20 yards. And then think about Seattle had 14 penalties for over 100 yards.
Yep.
And San Francisco still couldn't get much going. This game, Seattle, they just take it out of you, man. Defensively, those guys are so big and so fast, and they just play with a certain type of aggression that a lot of teams, they can't match that. They can't match. Playing in Seattle, it's going to be really down. It's just something that tells me this is San Francisco's last hope of trying to get into the playoffs. So they're going to lay it on the line.
They will.
They have the weapons offensively. You got Frank Gore. You got a great offensive line. You got a quarterback that can play. You got receivers on the outside. You have a tight end that can run. You look at their offense. They have all the pieces you need. For some reason, they haven't put it together. This is the game where they have to lay it on the line, or technically their season's over. They'll play. Guys going to start packing up their stuff. You start sending it home. You getting ready. They lose this game, guys will be sending stuff home come Monday and Tuesday. And so they're going to give it all they have. I actually see them. I'll go out on a limb and say they'll probably win this game because they have no choice.
Well,
they have no choice.
San Francisco will win this game.
It's no way San Francisco can be held under 200 yards again. So that means they're going to have to play better. They can't play any worse. They cannot play any worse.
You have a score?
I'll say 21-20. It will be that close. Yeah. I mean, Seattle fumbled.
It's going to be a close game.
First game, Seattle fumbled the ball 3 times. They recovered all 3, so the ball did bounce their way often.
Okay, we've been talking about point spreads a lot, and I want to qualify this. I am not a betting man. I was in my younger days, but I learned my lesson, so I don't bet on these games, but I do love the point spreads because they are measuring sticks for what's going on here. Seattle is a 10-point favorite at home. This is by far the widest spread for a Jim Harbaugh team in his era coaching this 49er team. But there's an old rule of thumb, in NFL games, always take double-digit points. So you would think, to your point, you're picking Seattle just to win it outright. I mean, San Francisco to win it outright. But most people would say, by the case you're making and you're making, well, take those points, man, because that's double digits. That's 10 points. I don't know. I wouldn't bet it with 10 points because Seattle is playing at an extremely high level, as we saw at Philadelphia. That was no joke. That was no fluke of what happened. They took a really good offense that destroyed my Dallas Cowboys and just suffocated them. They couldn't even get out of the blocks. They couldn't convert a third down. And you pointed out, I mean, they had a hard time rushing the passer early. Now Michael Bennett is just flying off that edge at people. and Averill from the other side. And man, every time I look up, our guy Bobby Wagner's knocking somebody down. They fly to the football. Well, that's hard because the 49ers, they got internal issues. Let's just be honest about it. Because the coach, I think, is a lame duck. I don't know exactly what's going to happen. Maybe he's going to be traded somewhere, but it's a very troubled relationship between the head coach and the front office. And it becomes a troubled locker room where they lose a little hope and a little heart. And I get it. It's arch rivals, it's division, and your points are well taken. If there's heart left in this locker room, you know what I mean? Like, are you sure they haven't already started sending stuff home because they just know it's over?
Right.
They just know they're not the 49ers of last year? Man,
no,
you look at.
I don't believe they think it's over.
No.
From the standpoint that they have an opportunity, they still have an outside chance.
Sure,
to get into the playoffs. I mean, I think they play Arizona the last game of the season, I believe. So I mean, they still have an outside chance if they can win the football games. Okay.
Yeah.
Also, you have to understand, they're a divisional opponent, right? So they understand what they're going to see, what they're going to get, the type of intensity that Seattle brings. Right. They understand that. They know they have to match that intensity. Now, the team that they had the first game they played, is not the same team. They got some guys back. They got some guys playing. Now, they're not playing better by any stretch of the imagination, but they understand that this is their moment. And when you have a team that understands that and understands who they're playing against, they have a chance. Also, the Seattle Seahawks beat up on the 49ers the first time they played.
They sure did.
And TJ, you can kind of help this. When you play a team once already and you beat up on them, you say you don't face them the same way that they would look at playing the Eagles, who was a team that they weren't familiar with. So they got up for. This is a team
you feel like you're gonna beat up on them again.
Yeah, you think, oh, these are the step kids. We're gonna beat up on them.
Okay.
You know what I would like to see? I would like to see the 49ers. I'm sitting here thinking, why have they struggled? If you look at what they have defensively, I would like them to get Aldon Smith, Justin Smith, Ahmad Brooks, and a youngster from Pitt on the D-line at the same time. It's because Ahmad Brooks is a big boy. He played with me in Cincinnati.
Yeah, he's tough.
They just didn't play him. But Ahmad Brooks can play. He can play inside if need be because he's that big. Get those 4 guys on the D-line. That's taking a page out of Seattle's book. They get 4 athletes out there, rush the passer, and let's go because they're big, they're physical, and they're fast. I would like them to do something of that so you can get your best pass rushers on the field on 3rd down. Normally, they take Ahmad Brooks out, and it's he's upset about it. I'm playing well. Why are you taking me out? So they need to switch some things up.
I'll make one last point in both of your favors. Russell Wilson is a fascinating player to me because the more I watch him, the more I realize he is not a very good pocket passer.
No.
He's obviously an inch shorter than Johnny Manziel is. But he is Johnny Football before Johnny Football. He is Russell Football. He made Johnny Manziel plays beyond Johnny at Philadelphia. And they're all escape plays. They're rollout plays. There's some trickery involved. There's some throwback plays. But he's just doing it mostly with his legs, and their running game is serious. So it's interesting, but if San Francisco could manage off what you're saying with that 4-man front, if you can keep him in the pocket, which most people cannot do, he is below average to me. He has a hard time throwing it from the pocket.
If everybody had that defense, then they could perform like Russell Wilson, and it gets glossed over.
All right, so let's talk scenarios. If Arizona Cardinals lose tonight against the Rams, which history suggests they will, and then the Seahawks win on Sunday over the 49ers. The 49ers and Arizona have the same exact same exact record in the NFC West, which means here comes the Seahawks. And are you saying they're going to the Super Bowl?
The Seahawks?
Yeah.
Are they going to the Super Bowl?
I'm throwing you out there. I'm just throwing it all the way out there.
Let's see if they win the division first.
You ain't giving them that.
I can't give you the Super Bowl.
Okay.
I think if Arizona loses, and Seattle wins, Seattle will win the division because then they play in Arizona. Seattle plays Arizona in Arizona, and I think at that point Seattle wins that game, and it's over.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
I'll give it to you. Seattle in Super Bowl.
Because you already got the point of the Super Bowl. You already picked it. Yeah.
Oh, that's easy.
Hey, they got there's a team out there in Wisconsin.
Oh, okay, that guy.
Yeah.
Speaking of, we're talking about him. Aaron Rodgers has been a bad man at home this season, but the Packers have just been bad at times on the road. Will that continue when they head to Buffalo? We will discuss in just a few moments.